yeah, maybe I did try and record this episode just now, and it didn't work out. No, of course it didn't. Okay, why didn't it work out? Well, before recording the episode, I was in the bathroom, and for reference, I'm currently in the side of the house that isn't in use. If you don't know, I live on a farm, therefore I live in a farmhouse that's split down the middle. My family and I live on one side. The other side of the farmhouse is not being used right now, right? I went into the bathroom, very innocent, to look in the mirror, just double check my hair, which, by the way, I don't know if I'm serving right now. So please don't leave any comments. I don't want to get any DMs. Kit, your hair looked a mess. Guys, after this story, you'll be apologizing, okay? I was looking in the mirror, walked into the bathroom. Mind you, this house hasn't been used in years. I look in the mirror, I start hearing scratching. Yeah. I started on my words just then because it's a little bit PTSD. Hearing scratching. I look up. What do I see up there? Guess. A hatch to go up to the attic. Oh, I just got full body chills. And I did. So this is the kind of scratching that's like, oh no, there's something living up there. Something's going on. And it's not only scratching, it's like lifting. It's like something's trying to get its claws around the hatch to open it to come down into the bathroom where I am. Instead of calling someone like the police, I just came into this room and I was like, yes, let me record the podcast. And I tried. It kind of failed. I mean, honestly, I was trying to like make this topic deeper than it had to be. I was like, guys, this summer flopped because I was so insecure. I was like, wait, I wasn't that insecure. I was a bit insecure, but I wasn't that. I was trying to make it something, you know, when you're trying to make it deep and meaningful. You know, when you're with a friend and you're trying to make a deep and meaningful chat, deep and meaningful when it didn't have to be. It didn't have to be deep and meaningful. It could just be fun and lighthearted, you know? So I then had to say, well, we need to stop. Guys, can we stop? Can we not talk about that? So we're not. I'm doing the same topic, but in a much more chatty style, which I think a lot of you guys like and I like. So I don't know why I don't do it more often. I just sit and I talk. There's not going to be a catch up of the week because the whole episode is going to be the catch up of the week. I'm going to be talking about my week and then I'm going to be getting into the catch up of the summer and I'm going to be talking about my autumn. This is Self-Interrupted, by the way. Hi, I'm Kit Costello, the host of Self-Interrupted with Kit Costello. And today we are talking about, give me a second to get the title up. I won't let autumn flop like summer did. My seasonal plans. Yes, I'm going to be catching you up on my summer and I'm going to be talking about what I want my autumn to be. So let's get into the episode, the catch up of the week and the catch up of the summer. And then we'll get into my plans for autumn. Does that sound like a plan? I think so. Wait, guys, I'm already feeling so much better. I am. Like, there was something sinister going on last time I tried to record this episode. It was like a presence. And I will be honest, I was recording the catch up of the week and out the corner of my eye, there's a door just behind me to my right. And out of the corner of my eye, it's open, by the way, I could see like a shadowy figure walk past. And I was like, oh, not right now, girl. Like, it's all cute if someone is in this house and they're like living here, baby, by all means. Doesn't affect me. Queen out in this house, of course. Don't do it while I'm recording the podcast, bitch. Like, if you're going to be living in this house, no, I'm serious. By all means, you have every right to. Well, you don't. You have absolutely no rights to, but I'm not going to complain. I'm going to complain if you're pissing me off during recording the podcast. Hello, globally charting podcast. Thank you so much. Currently charting in Canada. Thanks, Canada. Much love to you, Queen. 126 in the personal journals. It is kind of crazy to me that we are consistently charting. It was a goal of mine this season to be consistently charting, and we are. Not in the same countries. In the UK, we are. But everywhere else, it's like we're in the South Korea charts for like 2 weeks and then we just dip and never to be seen in those charts again. So I don't know what's happening. I don't know who in South Korea was like, yes, let's tap into Self-Interrupted real quick. But if it was you, let me know and I will send you PR. But let's get into the catch up of the week. Okay, so this week, right. This week has just kind of been like, oh, it's been very, yeah. It's just kind of been, oh, right. right? I started of the week on Monday, and no, I'm actually starting this catch up of the week on Tuesday. There I go trying to assume things, my God. Tuesday, I got laser hair removal on my face. And me and my laser hair removal technician, we've entered a new stage of friendship. I've been going there now for about 6 months and we queen out. I would say she's around like late 30s, early 40s. And I was sitting down on that medical bed and for some reason she just started talking about her life. I'm all for it. However, this was the one time where I was like, I do have stuff to do after this appointment, and I'll get to that in a second. And it was the one time where she was like, yeah, no, I actually do want to tell you my life story right now. And she got to a point and I said, oh, this is getting a little bit. And then she said, I'm gluten-free. And I said, my ears perked up because if you don't know, I'm a gluten-free diva myself. And one thing about me is like when I see a gluten-free diva in real life, you're automatically a sister. Like you're automatically a sister to me. Suddenly I had no plans and I was like, we're about to lock it into this conversation. And she was talking about making gluten-free bread. And then we queened out over the fact that gluten-free bread in supermarkets is flop.com. And we were both like, oh my God, that's so true. And then she whips out her phone and she's like, well, funnily enough, I've been baking gluten-free bread. And I was like, you're kidding. And she was like, yeah, no, I've been doing a course in London on how to make the best gluten-free bread. And I've just started perfecting it. And I will say, guys, I was like, oh, I'm so happy for you. There was not once an offer to be like, I'll bring you some. Like, we used to be a community. There was something here. And then there was just like, it was like, it fell on deaf ears. I was like, wait, guys, can I get some of that gluten-free bread? I do. There's a part of me, there's like a tiny part of me that's thinking like, I might show up to my next appointment and she might have like a roll or something for me. Maybe I'm being delusional. Maybe I see the best in people, but like maybe even for Christmas. Guys, come on. At Christmas time, please. I just want a gluten-free roll. She was gassing them up, so I feel like it's a little bit, it's almost rude to not bring me a gluten-free roll. Because I was giving very lost puppy. I was like, oh no, like, I've never had gluten-free bread that's that great. I'd love some gluten-free bread. Anyway, my plans after facial laser was spontaneous plans with a high member of the KCCU, Hanifa. Hanifa and I spontaneously went to see Materialists. Amazing film, loved it. It's been getting some criticism online. If you don't know, Materialists is a rom-com with Dakota Johnson, Chris Evans and Pedro Pascal, directed by Celine Song, who directed Past Lives, which is an amazing film. And it's been getting criticism online because it's more of, there's a drama aspect to the rom-com, which I really appreciated, but I definitely still think it was a rom-com. People online were like, it completely killed the vibe. I was like, no, it didn't. It was just real. And it also gave depth to all of the characters involved. I gave it a strong 4 stars. Big up Dakota Johnson. Big up Celine Song. Sure, big up the men as well. Pedro Pascal, do love him. He has a trans sister. And big up Chris Evans. Why not? We're bigging up everyone. And after came out of the film, Hanifa and I, we did sit in the cinema foyer for about 2 hours just chatting. And that's just classic Kit and Hanifa vibes. However, it did get to 10 p.m. and I was like, oh, it's Tuesday. I haven't edited anything for the episode that's meant to be coming out in literally, let me do the math, 8 hours. Right. And it does take me like 4 hours to edit. And I'm still in London. I need to get back to the farm. So on the train home, I was editing because I did bring my laptop with me because the original plan was to do laser, then go and edit. But when Hanifa calls, you answer. So I'm on the train, I'm doing my editing. Of course, there are some like drunken men on the train pissing me off. I used to be really scared of drunk men. I don't care. And I don't give this advice to other people because you've got to have your wits about you. But one thing about a drunk man, he's not going to have his wits about him. But I'm not scared of drunk men anymore like I used to be. Like drunk men are just foolish to me now. You know, like those kind of drunk men that are like laddish. I'm not like, oh, I'm scared. I'm like, you're a loser. Sorry. Not that they are losers. Maybe they are. I don't know. But like, I just, in my brain, I'm like, loser. You don't have to be scared of losers. There was something, guys, can I be really honest with you? I didn't say this in the last time I tried to record this episode because I thought it might be a bit creepy vibes. There was a really cute guy on the train. And I was like, I wasn't trying to like make it obvious that I found him cute, but I was looking at him and he was looking at me. And at a point I was like, I thought there's something going on. But then I was like, okay, let's not gas it. It got to my stop. By the way, My stop is like a niche village in the middle of nowhere. He gets off at my stop. I'm like, you live in my village, bitch? Mind you, we've taken this train all the way from London. I was like, what? Then, crazier, I had parked my car at the end of the farm so I can walk to the car, then I can drive home. So my mum doesn't have to pick me up, right? I can't drive still. Legally, I don't have a license. We end up walking the exact same direction. And I was like, there was part of me that was like, ugh, it's fate. We did not speak. And honestly, I think he was trying to avoid me. There was a point where I was like, oh, what if he's the killer? You know, you get to a point where you're like, oh my God, like it's meant to be. Like we got off the train at the same time and we're walking in the same direction. And then you're like, oh, wait, what if he tries to kill me? You know, you've got to have your wits about you, bitch. As a girl in London, you got to make sure, you know? So I kept it pushing, got in the car and I drove my ass home. It was my brother's birthday. I missed my brother's birthday. Apologies to Lewis. Everyone say happy birthday to Lewis. However, it's important to say that it was my brother's birthday because, guys, there was cake. I know what you're thinking, Kit, gluten-free diva, dairy-free diva, you wouldn't be indulging in that kind of business. I did. Guys, I've been trying to indulge myself into gluten and dairy because it's starting to piss me off. Guys, I'm sick of it. I'm not allergic to it. I'm intolerant. And I'm telling my body I'm done. Okay, I'm done. When I eat cake, do I get a couple of blisters on the roof of my mouth? Yes, I do. But I'm working through it. And I've had cake every day for the past week, and every day the reaction is lesser. I think it's getting better. I do. I'm not being irresponsible. I'd like to do this at certain points throughout the year because I'm like, just in case I have gluten, it's not a terrible reaction. That's what I tell myself. I literally just want a cake. Thursday, I would tell you about Wednesday. Wednesday, I literally just have written down apple and salted caramel sauce with chocolate chips. On a Wednesday, I don't like to do things because the podcast has come out and I've been working all day Tuesday. So I like to have a day off on Wednesday. And obviously I just had apple and salted caramel with chocolate chips. But I had the chocolate chips in the salted caramel sauce. So I'd scoop the apple into the sauce with the chocolate chips. And it was really yummy. Anyway, Thursday, I had laser hair removal again, full body this time. Guys, literally don't. I had hives. You guys know about my hives. We don't know why Kit Costello had hives and it's scary. Like, to this day, I don't know why I randomly came up with hives for a week, but luckily they have gone. Bless up. When I had hives, I was meant to have laser hair removal, but the morning of, I was like, oh, can't be getting laser when I have hives. Had to give them a call. They didn't pick up. I called that salon 20 times. I go back to the salon on Thursday for my laser hair removal appointment, and she's like, oh, it's funny you didn't come to your last appointment. It would have been nice if you'd let us know. I said, let you know. It got to 9 a.m. I'd called you bitches 20 times in a row and I had emailed you and the person had corresponded with me. And they were like, yeah, no, that's fine. Just don't go to the appointment. And now I'm getting slack. It annoyed me. And then I was like, well, I couldn't come because it was a medical emergency. And she was like, oh, that should be fine. You can get your money back. Mind you, I've been arguing over email with this guy from my laser clinic for like a week trying to get my money back. I don't want to scream too much, right? After laser hair removal, I then went over to East London and I went to a cafe called All Press. Guys, it just gets from bad to worse. No, it does. It does. It was a nice experience. Okay. All Press is in East London where they have coffee shops that are like a little bit too, how you say, pretentious. Like, girl, why did I ask for the Wi-Fi password and they said we don't have Wi-Fi here? And I said, oh, do you guys have a plug for my phone? And they said, we don't have a plug here. And I said, well, what the fuck are we doing, girl? Like, what is happening? You're a cafe and you're going to be telling me you don't have coffee in a second. I know it sounds silly, but I'm like, everyone here is working. I don't know if your whole vibe is that if you don't have Wi-Fi or a plug socket, people won't end up working in your cafe. It's not working, queen. Everyone that's at your cafe has a laptop out. So get the Wi-Fi out. Like, it really annoyed me because I'd already sat down with my drink and I ended up getting something called the vegan platter. I know you're thinking, Kit, oh my God, I bet you indulged. Guys, it was literally seasonal veg and hummus, basically. And it was absolutely incredible. I hate to say it. It was £14. Don't. It was £14 for some toast and some vegetables. I felt like a peasant in the Victorian era. No, I really did. I was like, I paid £14 for this, but it was delightful because it was all obviously like fresh veg from some kind of local source. It was gorgeous. I can't fault them. It was a nice experience, but there was just something that made me roll my eyes when they were like, we don't have Wi-Fi or plug sockets. It was just like, guys, what story are you trying to tell? I feel like you're trying to give something that just like doesn't need to be given. Like, we're in the middle of London. Like, it's really not. We don't need to be like, oh my God, like we're just not like other cafes. Like, it's okay. You can be like other cafes. Of course you can. You're selling coffee for an extortionate price. It's kind of classic. All love. All love. Anyway, I then got the train home and I was listening to Katy Perry's old music. Guys, get into I Kissed a Girl. Get into Hot and Cold. Because at the end of the day, you are hot and you're cold. You are yes and you're no. You're in then you're out. You're up then you're down. Love it. I'm not going to embarrass myself anymore. Anyway, Friday, I just have written down rainy #autumn vibes, recreated my lunch from All Press, which was the Victorian peasant lunch, which I ended up loving, and Cake Gate, which is my brother's birthday cake, which I ended up eating most, if not all of. Over the weekend, I did some writing because you guys know that I wouldn't say I'm an author, I'm a substacker. But guys, it's the same thing. Like, I'm kind of Jane Austen, if you think about it. I wrote a piece for my Substack entitled He's Not Your Connell, He's a Twat, which is about the character Connell from Normal People. And throughout the piece, I emphasize that I feel as though people romanticize Connell's character, which, if you don't know, Normal People is, you guessed it, about very normal people. This normal couple, Marianne and Connell. And Connell is this like very average run-of-the-mill guy. And I think a lot of people are able to place people in their lives, say for example an ex that didn't treat them necessarily well, to Connell, because they find empathy for Connell throughout the show. But the whole piece that I wrote is basically saying that just because you can see someone's character arc on a TV show and parts of that character remind you of someone that isn't good for you, it doesn't mean that the person you're thinking of is going to have the same character arc as that character. Damn, okay. Shakespeare, Jesus. But if you want to read that, feel free to go into the link of this episode and read it. Then yesterday, which was Monday, it was the 1st of September. New month, new diva. I had my journal out, of course. I was doing the reflections of August and the intentions for September. I like to talk about things that I learned from last month that I'm going to take into this month. I like to talk about my minor goals for this month and my major goals, some affirmations and some gratitudes. It all sounds a bit woo-woo. And honestly, at one point in my life, I would have been like, that's so silly, I'm not doing that. But it's just nice to do. It's nice to have a little bit of a ritual at the beginning of each month. And I was sitting in my office yesterday. It was raining. Cozy vibes, very unemployed give, I will be honest. Like, there was no employment scene and the fairy lights were on. It was raining outside. I was watching Hannah Montana the movie, which is like an annual viewing for me at this point, and I cried at the final song, You Always Find Your Way Back Home, because you will always find your way back home. Always have to have a little cry at that movie. And then I started catching up on The Summer I Turned Pretty. Oh, let's not talk about it. The Summer I Turned Pretty, no. The Summer I Turned Shitty. I being Belly. Like, Belly, Isabel, we need to have a little come to Jesus moment. Baby, you deserve better. Do you? I don't know. I'm not sure. But I think there's something that you deserve, and it's not brothers that you've known since you were a child. Dating them both seems a little bit unnecessary. Being engaged to one of them seems damn right wrong, and not being with the other seems damn right wrong. Yes, I'm a Conrad stan, and I will say it again. I need Conrad in my life. I sure as hell do, and I want that man. And I need that man, not the actor. No shade to the actor. I'm sure you're a lovely person. Conrad, the character, need you. And I will say, I feel like Conrad has become more cheeky this season. Like, he's a little bit more cheeky. He's a little bit more of like a, ooh. And I need that. I do need that. Like, biblically, it's written in the Bible that I end up with Conrad. So let's get it stepping. Anyway, that's the catch up of the week. I hope you've enjoyed. I did say that I wasn't going to split the topic and the catch up of the week up, but I think I will. And I make the rules, guys. So that's the catch up of the week. Now let's get into the topic of the week, which is I won't let autumn flop like summer did, my seasonal plans. I'm going to be honest, this is the point when I last tried to record where, I stumbled a bit. Because sometimes I do struggle just chatting basically about a topic that doesn't have any points. Because why was summer bad? Can't necessarily pinpoint it, but I just know it was. Like, summer technically is over right now. However, you guys know that I love a seasonal calendar. Technically, summer does not end until the 21st of September. And I've got to get through to you. I do. Because I technically could have the best summer of my life if the next couple of weeks are great. However, guys, we've got to be honest with ourselves sometimes. And that person that I've got to be honest with myself is me. Sometimes September isn't giving summer, and we've got to be honest. But much like September isn't giving summer, May isn't giving summer. Because some bitches are like, oh, it's summer. No, it's not. It's spring. Guys, wait. The way you get like summer sale from some of these companies in the middle of May, March even. Guys, get ready for a summer sale, babe. It's literally Easter Sunday. So technically, I could still have the summer of my life. And I think we need to put that good energy out there. There's a possibility that I might be going to Paris, like literally next week. So the fingers are crossed. We could have the most amazing summer. Wait, this is a hopeful part of the episode. Because maybe you come into this episode thinking, ugh, my summer's been so crap as well, Kit. Like, let me tap in. But wait, maybe this is going to be the best summer of your life and you just don't know it yet. You still have a week. You still have a couple of weeks, actually, to queen out with your friends. Right. That's a great take to have, actually. Why hasn't the summer so far been good? And for the last week of summer, what am I going to do to romanticize it? And then I'll get into my autumn. We're just going to get into autumn, bitch. I love autumn. We're just going to get excited for autumn, okay? Let's talk about what my summer has been, okay? And what I expected it to be. Summer, so far, because famously there's a couple of weeks left. Summer so far, baby, nothing's been going on. Nothing's been happening. So what have you guys been up to? Because I've been up to nothing. I feel as though this summer, I remember saying to Emma, let me know if you remember this. I think in her kitchen and I kept sending her TikToks and I kept like texting Emma. I'd be like, this is going to be the summer of our lives. We're going to have such a good time. We're going to go to pubs. We're going to sit with our friends. We're going to have so many good memories. Me and Emma just sitting in her living room doing nothing, which is an incredible memory and it's something I will look back on. But when you have these incredibly high expectations of what you think summer's going to be, there is a part of you that's like, I feel a little bit let down. Like I said, I've recently rewatched Hannah Montana the movie. If you don't know, Hannah Montana the movie is set in Tennessee. Miley Stewart has to go back to find her roots in her hometown. And there is something about me that was like, that was what this summer was meant to give. Like, this summer was meant to give like very running through fields with my friends, like community. And I just feel like what I really yearn for in summer, guys, can I be honest, is community. It's friendship, it's gatherings. And my favorite parts of this summer have been those moments where I've been with my friends. I have written down a couple of my favorite moments this summer, but I'm going to use my brain, because I think sometimes I go onto my notes and I freak myself out a bit because I'm like, I have to hit this point, I have to hit that point. But let's just talk. One of my favorite moments this summer was Emma's birthday. Emma's birthday was held in a park in London Fields. If you are familiar with London Fields, you know what the give is. And I just love meeting new people. I love being around people that I haven't seen in a while. I love there being crisps and dips. I love there being a little bit of alcohol. Damn, I don't think that makes me a villain. Those are my favorite moments. I just love being with my friends. And I love my friends. Like, the little moments during summer that I love the most are the moments that are the most mundane. Like, even that gathering, yes, that was the amazing part of the day. But one of my favorite parts of the day was when the Emmas and I were walking back to their flat at like 11:30 at night. That was amazing. And one of the Emmas, my friend Emma, right. One of the Emmas, my friend Emma, because I really distinguished which one that was. One of the Emmas, her feet were hurting. So the other Emma gave Emma a piggyback at literally like 11:30 at night to the flat. And then we got back to the flat and we just ate cookies. I think it's really important to just like relish in those moments with your friends during any season, because those are the moments that you come out of the season thinking, oh my God, no, wait, we actually did have a good time last summer. Because sometimes I do come out of a season, and I'm sure I'll look back on this summer in the same way. I'll come out of a season, like for example, winter. While I'm in the, season of winter, I'll be like, oh, I feel like I'm not making the most of this and I could be doing more. And then when I leave that season, I start to romanticize what I did. Even if it was the smallest, most mundane moments, I'll look back and I'll be like, damn, like I really enjoyed that winter. But then I'll be like, bitch, you were depressed for like half of the winter. What do you mean? I think it's just the idea of looking back at something with rose tinted glasses, but also trying your best to, in the moment, think of how you're going to think of this moment in the future. That's what I do. I think I do that to a detriment sometimes. Like I've talked about in the past, I've talked about this like idea of premature nostalgia where I'll be in a moment and I won't really be able to enjoy it because I'm thinking of how much I'm going to miss it, which is silly. I think there's definitely a balance to that. And when you get that balance right, it's lovely because you really get to appreciate those moments, those moments that you're spending throughout the summer where you're just enjoying yourself and you're having a good time, and you get to appreciate those moments because sometimes you don't, and those moments fly by. But I think during the summer, I really try and create those moments and I try and hang on to them so they definitely don't slip me by. I'm more aware of the times that I'm by myself, which I think this summer I've spent a lot of time by myself. And I think it's a spectrum, of course. I love spending time by myself. Famously, oh my God, I love being by myself. Like, guys, there's times this summer where I have literally wanted nothing more than to walk around London with my headphones on, going nowhere. Like a couple of weeks ago, was in London. I left Emma's house and I literally just walked for like 2 hours. I didn't know where I was going. But in London, girl, you can't really get lost. So I was just like walking. I had good music in my headphones and I just went for a walk. I was like a lost dog in London. But again, that is something I'm already romanticizing. Like I walk away from that moment and I'm like, oh, that was a bit of fun for me. These are the moments that I definitely will look back on for a long time and think my summer was fun. I did have a good summer. If we're going to talk about the good parts of summer, I think we need to also talk about the more bad parts of my summer experience. I think summer for me has always been kind of tough. When I was younger, we're getting deep. Guys, I hope you don't mind. When I was younger, I used to have like very big body issues. I mean, being trans now, I'm sure you can understand why. I had a bit of like some issues with my body. And I think subconsciously I bring those issues into every summer. I think this summer there wasn't a change in that. I was always very insecure when I was younger, like to the point where I was insecure of my body and I like wouldn't like to show my body off in, ways. I'd like to cover up. I like to wear really baggy clothes because I just thought that clothes that weren't baggy or that didn't cover up my body, I thought that they didn't flatter me. And I just thought that I didn't look good. So I've always had a really weird relationship with summer. When I was younger, I really just thought of summer as like quite suffocating time because I'd always associate it with being like overheated because I didn't allow myself to wear little clothes. Because I just tried to cover myself up as much as I possibly could. And I think for me, it kind of became second nature to do that. And only recently it became an idea that I'd be able to wear clothes that I actually liked during the summer and I wouldn't have to cover up during the summer. And that was something that was new to me. You know, that's only happened for the past couple of years that I've been able to have the confidence to grow out of the shell that I created for myself when I was younger. But I think in some way this summer I kind of fell back into those insecurities, but for different reasons. My body's changing in ways that it hasn't changed before because I'm transitioning. You know, I'm medically transitioning, which means my body is literally changing. Like, guys, I'm going through a second puberty. It's a whole thing. It really is a whole thing. The fat's redistributing on my body. Clothes aren't fitting me the way they used to. And for someone that has had issues with her body in the past, when something doesn't fit the way it used to, I'm like, oh, wait, I'm doing something wrong. But you're not doing something wrong. Your body is changing and your body is beautiful, whatever your body looks like. And I want to emphasize that to you. If you have a summer, a spring, a winter, an autumn where you feel like you can't wear something because your body doesn't look quote unquote good enough, I want you to get that out of your head right now. Because why, as an 11-year-old, was I having those thoughts? As a 10-year-old, why was I thinking I can't wear a top by itself because I don't feel secure enough? You're a 10-year-old, bitch. Get the top on. Stop being silly. You know, but at the time it wasn't silly. It was like literally do or die. Like I had to wear that cardigan in 30-degree heat because I felt incredibly insecure. And this summer that came back and I found myself wearing jumpers and wearing baggy clothes because I was like, I feel really insecure right now. I do not want to be wearing tiny little tops. And I think also like being trans, it's so nuanced. So I try and I like talking about being trans on the podcast because I know that there's a lot of trans divas that listen. Trans divas, of course, classic. But also I know that not everyone's trans. But I think it's interesting to just have the insight. Being a trans woman, like for me, I get laser hair removal. So when you get laser hair removal, I'm so privileged to be able to afford laser hair removal in the first place. But when you get laser hair removal, there's like this sweet spot like 2 weeks after getting it where all of the hair that you've lasered sheds. So you have 2 weeks where you're literally hairless on your body and it's gorgeous and you can wear whatever you want. Obviously, if you have body hair and that's what you want and you're femme presenting and you like having body hair, wear whatever you want. For me, I don't like having body hair. So for those 2 weeks where I don't have body hair, I'm loving my life. I'm wearing little tops, but then slowly but surely the body hair starts growing back and my confidence gets smaller and smaller. And I quickly find myself in big jumpers again, covering up my arms, covering up my stomach, covering up my chest. And I think it's just something that like a lot of my friends can't relate to. So I will be wearing like jumpers or like long sleeve tops in like 28-degree heat and people are kind of questioning why you're doing that. And I'm like, well, I have hair on my arms. And then people are like, well, I have hair on my arms and I'm a girl. But it's like, it's wired differently in my brain, you know, and that's just being trans. It's something that I'm learning about myself so that I can unlearn it, you know? And I think there's beauty in that. There's beauty in going through seasons as a new version of yourself, whether you're trans or you're not, and understanding yourself in those new seasons so that when that season comes around next year, you have learnt those things so that you can mature from them. The laser hair removal thing is something that I'm really trying to work through. And like I mentioned in the catch up of the week, there was a period where I had to skip a laser hair removal appointment and I had to wait a few extra weeks to go to a new appointment. And within those few extra weeks, I was like, it's really hot. I don't want to be wearing a baggy jumper. And I've been spending my whole summer wearing big, fat, baggy jumpers. I have hair on my arms, but then I looked around to the women around me and I was like, they also have hair on their arms and I don't think twice about it. So if I really want to be, you know, confident, I need to look to the people around me and see the confidence that they exude and be inspired by that. And that's what I did. And I know it sounds kind of silly and frivolous. And you're like, Kit, you literally just wore a top. It's not that big a deal. And it's not. But for me, it is. Just in the sense that this summer, it may not have been the best summer of my life, but I think it's a summer that I definitely matured in a way. And as we know, I've talked about it previously, this was like the first summer I was dating someone and it all went tits up, classic. Actually, no, not classic, because it wasn't on me. And I will say that it wasn't on me, but thank God it ended because it was not right and it was flop. Okay? Basically, I think sometimes when you're dating someone at the start of summer, you envision yourself and that person to be dating all the way through summer, and you're thinking about things you're going to do together, and then it all kind of crumbles and you're like, damn, it would have been really nice to be doing that with this person throughout the summer. But if it's any consolation to anyone that's gone through a breakup, for me personally, I think about that person now and I'm like, thank God I didn't waste any more time with him. And I'm not trying to be mean to him, even though he wasn't the best to me. But it's like, there are so many beautiful people out there, platonic or romantic, that you should be giving your time to them. People that actually like want to be around you. You know, this person that I was dating like did not want to be around me at all. Like, it was pretty bad. But there are people that do love you, whether that's family, platonic, romantic relationships. There are people that like deserve your time. And that's something I've learned this summer as well, is that like you can't force things. Much like I couldn't force myself to wear a top, I had to learn in my own time that wearing a top while I had maybe some hair on my chest or some hair on my arms, I had to gain that confidence to wear that top myself. It was the same with the relationship. I was like, I don't have to force this just because it's something I want. Just because it's something I want doesn't mean it's something I should have in that moment. It's something that you can have in the future, and it will find you in the future. There are beautiful people out there that deserve your time and that deserve your energy, and it's worth the wait. And you'll know that when you find that person, whatever kind of relationship it is, you'll be there, you'll be saying, you'll be like, damn, like, this doesn't feel forced. It's happening and it feels good. And I feel happy. And I'm not even thinking about the person that treated me badly. You know, I'm not thinking about the plans that I wanted to do with them, because I'm doing completely separate ones with this person that loves me and I love them. And that's amazing. And that's something I've learned this summer, is that like, you can't always have everything planned out. You can't always hit these checkpoints in your season that you believe are going to make it a good season of your life or a good season of the year, because you don't know what's going to happen. And I think that's the beauty in it, like the beauty in letting go and letting in. If you haven't seen that episode of the podcast, go and watch it. It's about letting go of expectation and letting in the reality of the situation. Oh my God, Shakespeare. Sometimes I say stuff on this podcast and I'm like, you bitches really need to be like making quotes and putting them on t-shirts. But yeah, I think it's just like expectation is a funny thing in all different walks of your life, whether that's relationships or expectations for the season. You just have to let them go, because even an expectation for a plan to be good, sometimes a plan exceeds the expectation, and that is what makes it special. And sometimes like even the plan that you have, it's not even that's the good part. The good part is everyone gathering in the kitchen afterwards and you're all like having a cackle and a gossip, and it feels like one of those moments in your 20s that you're always going to remember. That's what I love. You know, that's what I love about the summer. I think what I love about summer is a lot of the time people want to have a good time, and a lot of the time people want to make memories. And that's what I tried to do this summer. I don't think it worked necessarily, but there are definitely times that I will look back on fondly with my friends, because those are the people that really matter. And also with my family, this season of my life, I've really like reconnected with my family in a big way, a way that I haven't before. Being trans and growing up on a farm, it's like it hasn't felt incredibly natural for me to be close to my family, but this season of my life it has, and it's something that is it's a major part of my summer that I will never forget. You know, like I never used to go to family events or to family barbecues because I felt really out of place, and I've never felt this in place in my life. And I'm really, really proud of that. I'm so proud to be like the trans woman that I am, and I feel really secure in myself. And I feel secure in my family. And I think as a queer person, that's such a privilege, and I don't take it lightly to be sitting around with my family that loves me, and you know, simply just having a barbecue and getting a little bit tipsy with my brother's girlfriends is literally like a dream of mine. And I'm so happy that this summer it happened. And I'm excited for the summers that are to come where they will continue to happen. So there are so many good things that have come from this summer. And it's not as frivolous as what I initially thought the summer was going to be for me. You know, I came into the summer thinking like, you know, I have this bucket list and I want to do this and I want to do that. But I think deep down what I've learned this summer and what I've gained this summer are some really great core beliefs that I didn't believe before and that I didn't think I could believe before. And I'm really proud of myself that I've come to this conclusion. So I do believe that this has been a good summer. It hasn't been the summer that I thought it would be. Like, was it giving Pinterest? Well, no, it wasn't. Of course it wasn't. There were parts of it that were giving Pinterest, though. Not every day is going to be a Pinterest day. Of course it's not. That's what makes the Pinterest days good. By a Pinterest day, I mean a day that's like very pleasing to you, that feels great. You have to have days in your life that just feel mediocre so that you can appreciate the good days. But let me tell you, you better appreciate those mediocre days, because a mediocre day in itself is a privilege. Just to be able to be having a day that is for you mediocre, that could be someone's like ideal day, you know? A mediocre day for me is literally just like sitting in my office, reading or watching a TV show with a nice little snack. To be honest, that's an ideal day for me. An ideal day for me is walking around doing nothing. Like, I love that. But for some people, that's a mediocre day. Like I said, it's like vice versa for some people. And I think that's really interesting. Enough about summer. Summer, you know what? You weren't that bad. You didn't flop as much as I said you did in the title of this episode. However, no, there's not a however. You didn't flop. And I appreciate you, summer. But let's get into my appreciation and my love for autumn and how I'm going to make autumn maybe maybe a little bit more like lively. No, not lively. Maybe let's talk about how I'm going to make autumn even better. Well, it's safe to say that segment got a little deeper than I thought it was going to get. Right. Me being like, this summer was a flop. Guys, I feel like I've reconnected with my family for the first... Wait. Whoa. Like, I don't know. When I started recording this episode, I was not expecting to get there, but I'm happy that I did. I think that's what I love about this podcast. Sometimes I will just be talking and then I just go into something that I did not think that I needed to talk about, and I feel comfortable enough with you guys because I literally know each of you. Like, this isn't even parasocial at this point. It's not a parasocial relationship when you have a relationship with all of your viewers. Like, it's friendship. Wait. Anyway, guys, I'm excited for autumn or fall. Guys, I'm excited for fall. Can't do it. Guys, I'm excited for fall. Is anyone else excited for fall? I'm excited for fall. I know I am. I love autumn. Love saying autumn like autumn. Guys, is anyone else excited for autumn? Autumn. Sorry. Anyway, love autumn, this queen. I will say in the UK, I'm currently looking outside. In front of me, there's a window, a big sash window, and it's raining. England knows how to do seasons because, I'm not kidding, 4 days ago, sunny. Turns September, rainy. Rainy every day. So I love England for that because she just gets the vibes. There are burnt orange leaves on the ground. There's a bit of rain in the air. This morning there was condensation on my windows. I was like, oh my God, we're so back. We're so back. In my office at 8 a.m. No, actually 6:30 in the morning. I put Gilmore Girls on the TV, but I put it on mute. I literally just have it there to have on in the background. And that's what I'm doing. I'm like really trying to romanticize it being the seasons. Because I think that's something I did miss out on during summer. Like I said, this summer clearly was about me reconnecting with. There was something going on this summer that was deeper than just, oh my God, look at the pretty colors. It was like, oh my God, I feel like I have family again. Yes. So, right. So I think this autumn I want to build off of that foundation, and I want to like, be a little bit frivolous. Yeah, we were just talking about being all mature and like growing up during the summer, but now let's like, I think it's nice to enter the new season with the fun things, and then maybe the more like the deeper things can just happen. So what are the things I'm doing this autumn to really romanticize this season? Okay, I do have some things written down here. Dark mornings. Not that I control the lighting in the morning, but I'm excited for the dark mornings. In brackets, walking to the office, which is at the end of the garden if you don't know, with my phone light on. Oh my God, guys, there's something special. There's something special about being, first of all, being the first to awake in the house and going down into the house while it's dark, making a coffee, walking out into the garden while it's still dark, phone on so I can see where I'm going. Special. Something special about that. There's also an owl. We have a resident owl on the farm. And she's hooting and hollering. She's flying around. Of course she is. There are bats. Guys, what do you know about bats? I feel like it's become way too normal for me to have bats on the farm. But like, it's freaky. I'm not even saying like these bats come out at night. Like these bats are out at 6 p.m. It's crazy. It's cuckoo to le mort. Like these bats, they swoop for you as well. Like bats will try and bite you. And I'm just there like, wait, guys, you're being silly. Like, stop trying to bite me, queen. Also, it's summer. Like, it's not your time yet, But I'm excited for the bats to come out and play in autumn since it's now their time. What else am I looking forward to in autumn? I'm looking forward to rainy days spent in. Tick, it's raining outside, I'm inside, rainy day spent in. I'm also excited to being in coffee shops, watching the windows steam up. Oh, can you tell that I'm a Substack writer now? I know you can. You said, Kit, there's something in the way you describe things. Yeah, I said the way that windows steam up in a coffee shop, you can picture it. Right. I love being in a coffee shop. I will say, a pet peeve of mine during the autumn/winter months is when you're so bundled up. I'm talking like sweaters, I'm talking jumpers, I'm talking jackets, and you're walking to meet your friends and you get into a warm cafe and you're looking around and you're like, oh my God. And you're ordering a drink, your friend's talking to you, you're overstimulated. You're like, wait, I'm too hot. And you're thinking, Jesus Christ, I need to take this off. But you're thinking, okay, well, they want me to pay for the drink that I've just bought. My friend's talking to me. How many layers do I have on? How many layers can I take off? That's socially acceptable. Okay, I need to take my drink. I need to pay for my drink, take my drink, go to the table. My friend's still talking to me. Have no clue what she's talking about. I need to take this off. Oh, I'm sweating. Okay, I'm sweating. My hair's sticking to my forehead, right? It's that kind of sweating. I need to take this jumper off right now. I take the jumper off. I've knocked something on the floor. I need to pick it up. My hair's all in my face. I'm sweating. I look at my friend. She's asked me a question. I have no clue what she's saying. I take off another layer. I now have sweat patches. Jesus Christ. I have sweat patches. Can everyone see my sweat patches? Do I smell? I need to go into my bag. Did I bring deodorant? I didn't bring deodorant. Do I smell? Oh my God. That's what I'm thinking the whole time when I'm in a cafe during winter, autumn months. So sometimes during the winter and autumn, I will deliberately go out knowing that I'll be a little bit cold because, baby, we're walking. When we're in London, we're doing a little bit of a walk. We're doing a 1-2 step. So it's going to automatically warm me up. That body heat, it's going to warm me. Anyway, sometimes I speak and I'm like, what are you talking about? Saying that, my next point is layering up. # bring back jumpers. Bitch, make your mind up. Like, what are you talking about? Sometimes I just like piss myself off. Like, I'm like, ugh, like sometimes I hate layering up. My next point is, guys, bring back layers, bring back jumpers. I do love jumpers though. And even though I said I was spending a lot of my summer months in jumpers because I was insecure, some of that was by choice as well. I do love an excuse to wear a jumper. And I think autumn is the perfect time to be wearing jumpers. Up next, baking. I will be doing some more baking. If you want some baked goods, please do let me know. I'm being serious. Like if you live in the London area, let me know. I will bring you cake. I'm not being satirical. let me know. Up next, early evenings. Early evenings, it's getting dark in the mornings, it's getting dark in the evenings. It's something to be celebrated. Up next, Gilmore Girls. Gilmore Girls, if you haven't tapped in, tap in right now. I don't care if you have any preconceived notion of what Gilmore Girls is. I don't care. It needs to be on in the background. Watch the first couple of episodes, be tapped and locked in. After that, doesn't matter. There's 6 seasons to get through. Just get through it. Up next, sad music hitting a little bit different. I'm already on this vibe. I do have my headphones on. I am listening to my Ethel Cain. I am listening to Sorrow's End of the World. That's my favorite song ever, by the way, if you wanted to know. I love sad music during autumn, winter months. It's my favorite. Up next, nights spent in with friends watching films. I cannot tell you the last time I spent a night in watching a film with a friend. And to any of my friends watching or listening, guys, I want a text. You have 3 working days to send me a text and to say, Kit, this is so out of the blue. And don't mention the podcast. Kit, this is so out of the blue. I was just thinking of you. Love that, by the way. Kit, I was just thinking about you. And I'm thinking, oh my God, thank you so much. Kit, I was just thinking about you. First of all, I love you. Thanks, guys. I think you're beautiful. Stop, you don't have to say that. Your hair looks great. It doesn't look bad. It doesn't look awful. Thank you. I was feeling a bit insecure about it, but I appreciate your compliments. And Kit, I was wondering if you wanted to come over. Oh, I would love that. Kit, would you want to watch a film? Oh my God, I was just thinking that. We should do that this autumn. So if you're my friend in real life, that's what I want. Okay? And I'm being serious. Thank you. Finally, roast dinners. Yes, you can have a roast dinner any time of the year, but a roast dinner during the autumn, winter months, amazing. And if you don't live in the UK, you guys have got to tap into roast dinners. Like, you've got to just treat yourself a little bit. Like, yeah, this is a Kit Costello approved message. You do. You have to tap into the roast dinner every now and then. I love it. I love like a spontaneous roast as well. If like me and my friends just happen to be out at the same time and like maybe it's giving dinner time. I've done this once, by the way. Like I did this once with my friend called Keen. Hi Keen, if you're listening. I was doing a photo shoot and he was like, do you want to meet up? And I was like, yeah, what do you want to do? And he was like, do you want to get a roast dinner? And we went to this random pub in, I think it was like Leicester Square or Covent Garden. We got a roast dinner. It was not good, but it was a vibe. Like it was an absolute vibe. And we had a couple of Guinness. I had 3 Guinnesses. I got drunk. Oh my God, I loved that night. That was such a good night. It was so London core. Oh my God. Anyway, that's what I'm looking forward to this autumn. I think this autumn is going to be great for us. And basically what I'm saying is go into this autumn with, expectations, but keep them kind of low. Just challenge yourself, because I think this summer I had too high of an expectation. I think it's nice to go in with some expectations and some idea of what you want. For example, like silly things like watching movies with your friends. Maybe it's not that silly. Maybe I do want my friends to actually text me about that. But, I think it's really nice to go in with like very low expectations and come out of the season thinking, oh my God, I did some really cool things. But that's the episode. I hope you enjoyed. I don't know what it was giving. I feel like it's been a roller coaster, this episode, but I hope that you've enjoyed it nonetheless. Let's get into the vinyl of the week and the recommendation of the week. The vinyl of the week this week is Evermore by Taylor Swift. I thought it was pretty apt as we're entering the autumnal season. I have it on vinyl. It is currently on my record player because I played it this morning. My favorites on Evermore are 'Tis the Damn Season, Tolerate It, Nobody No Crime. I've made my decision. Those are my favorites. There are probably some more, but I can't think of them right now. Anyway, I love Evermore. Definitely tap in if you haven't already. My recommendation of the week is actually some more music, and it is Like a Girl by Eli. Eli is a trans artist, and she has a song called Girl of Your Dreams that you might know. It went quite popular on TikTok, but she has a new song called Like a Girl, and it is amazing. I'm making a really conscious effort to consume trans art because being a trans person, there is something special about taking trans art in. And it's very inspiring to me that Eli is such an artist and she produces her own music and she has such a vision for herself, and I really appreciate that. So check out Like a Girl and also check out her whole discography because it's really impressive. But I hope you've enjoyed this week's episode of Self Interrupted. If you have, please make sure to rate the podcast and leave a written review over on Apple Podcasts. You can leave a star review on Spotify podcasts as well. You can follow the podcast on Instagram and on TikTok at Self Interrupted Pod. You can follow me personally at kit.costello on Instagram and on TikTok. You can follow the Substack at Self Interrupted with Kit Costello. But other than that, I'm sending you so much love. As always, Kit.